Today we will be talking about what happened at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. My name is Juan Navarro, and I will be instructing you today. On January 6, 2021, rioters didn't only attack but violate and violent attack against the violent United States Congress on January 6. Carried out by a mob of supporters of the U.S. President Donald Trump in an attempt to overturn his defeat in 2020 presidential election. These rioters were not only supporting their president, but they were representing the Republican side. It started with the president false promise. After this, we're going to walk down and I'll be there with you, Trump said. He wasn't going anywhere but back to the White House where he had 14 days remaining in his term. He also said, "You'll never take back our country with weakness." He told his supporters, "You have to show strength and you have to be strong." That motivated the rioters to not only push themselves to go into the Capitol and start destroying things. They scared a lot of people. Thousands of Trump loyalists stormed the Capitol. Members of Congress hid on their desks and were stripped from their identification cards to avoid being attacked. They escaped into secret passageways while rioters ransacked the office of the House of Speaker. Protesters waving flags, smashed windows, and assaulting police inside the nation's symbol of democracy. You may ask, how did they plan for this, right? How did all those people know when to go into the Capitol and riot for Trump? Well, in the days before a violent mob to Trump supporters, President Donald Trump's political affairs worked behind the scenes with pro-Trump groups to plan and promote events in Washington, D.C. Speaking at the March to Save America rally at the Lights to President's Park on Wednesday, President Trump urged the sea of supporters to march to the Capitol in protest of the Electoral College vote count, telling the crowd he joined them but ultimately not doing so after delivering a speech pushing baseless and unfounded claims that the election was rigged and telling the rowdy crowd that you'll never take our country with weakness, you have to show strength. Trump's order sent thousands of his supporters marching to the Capitol, where some with overpowered law enforcement toppled barricades and rioting inside the halls of Congress in unprecedented attack that left 5 people dead. Donald Trump was responsible for this attempt to overturn his defeat in the 2020 presidential election. So, in my opinion, Donald Trump was the one responsible. He's the one that sent the rioters to the Capitol to march for his defeat, to see if they could, I don't know what he was thinking, to be honest. He could have been wanting to re-elect or recount votes, even though they had already done that multiple times. 13 individuals have been charged so far in federal court in the District of Columbia related to crimes committed at the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, January 6th. You may ask, where were these rioters from? Well, these rioters were flying in from all over the country. People made threats to drive a plane through the thing and stuff like that, through the Capitol, I mean. One of them was Cleveland. Meredith was charged on January 7th with making interest threats to Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Richard Barnett of Arkansas was charged on the same day with knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building. Lonnie Kaufman of Alabama with possession of unregistered firearm and carrying a pistol without a license. Mark Leffing was charged on the 7th with knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building. Christopher Alberts of Maryland. Joshua Pruitt was charged with knowingly entering or remaining on any restricted building. Matthew Council of Florida. Cindy Fitchett of Virginia. Michelle Corzio of Florida. Douglas Sweet of Florida. Bradley Ruscliffe of Illinois. Terry Brown of Pennsylvania. And Thomas Gayak was charged with the same thing. All these people were from all over the country, to be honest. You may ask, when did the planning for the riots start, right? Why couldn't they prevent it? Why couldn't there be more cops and stuff like that? Well, On January 6th, Trump tweeted at 2:38 p.m., "Please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful." He had spent previous weeks promoting the Saving American rally. Trump later tweeted at 3:13 p.m., "I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful, no violence. Remember, we are a party of law and order. Respect the law, our great men and women in blue. Thank you." Then Trump issued a voice message on social media. Trump was basically motivating them to keep coming, to keep doing what they were doing. But like, come on now, that's not showing peace. It says here that police at the Capitol underestimated the power and size of the crowd. Over the years, shootings have occurred since 1998, but the assassins didn't get very far inside. Countless protests have been staged in and around the building in recent years, some of them peaceful and some not so peaceful. So the cops really just weren't prepared. Like, they were just too, how do you say, they were too cocky that they knew what they were doing, that it was going to be a big crowd. Some of the causes and effects from this are that the causes for this effect was that, this cause for this attack was that to try to save Trump, to try to keep him in office. But the effect was that they literally wasted their time. People got arrested, people got hurt, people died. A lot of people got injured. Was it really worth it? He was already out of office. There was no protesting to get him back. The law is the law. You can't disobey the law. In my opinion, what they could have done to prevent this was delete the posts. They already took down Trump's accounts from social media, but still they could have deleted those posts, told him that it was a fraud, a hoax, whatever, try to prevent it, or at least have more police and try to calm the crowd down. Instead of honestly, the police does overreact sometimes, throwing tear gas at them. But if it was black people, I feel like more people would have died. But since it was their own race, and there's a lot of racism, and I'm not gonna say that this man supports it, but he really does. But come on now, it was pretty obvious that it wasn't gonna do anything. What they could do is learn from their mistakes and check their social media more. That's my opinion.